Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how I make ramen noodle patties. These are absolutely delicious. It's a great side dish, snack, appetizer. So what you do is you can easily half this recipe or triple it, quadruple it, because once you try these you're probably going to want to make a million. um, but what I did today is I took 2 packages of ramen noodles, the chicken flavor, and before I open the package, I break them up into like 4 pieces inside the package, and then I dump them into a saucepan, and I add 1 package of the chicken flavoring that they give you, and I cook them until they're done until they're done. Then I drain them and I put them in a bowl, and I'm going to let them cool about 5 minutes before the next step. As they are cooling, I add my spices. So I have added a pinch of salt, a couple dashes of black pepper, a generous amount of dried parsley flakes. Now, I prefer to actually make these ramen noodle patties with fresh parsley, but I didn't have any in the house, so I am using the dried because you really want the parsley in them. Okay, so the main reason for letting them cool for a few minutes is that you're going to be adding eggs to the noodles, and you don't want to start cooking the eggs. That would not turn out very well. So what I've done is I have added 2 eggs, because it is 1 egg per package of ramen noodles that you make. So there's 2 eggs in here and about a good teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And I have lightly combined those eggs with the Worcestershire, and it just makes it easier to stir once you put them in the noodles. So I've got those in there, and now I'm going to stir this up, and I'm going to have to do this with the camera out of my hand. Okay, so my mixture is well combined, and I have put enough oil in the bottom of the pan to lightly cover the whole pan. Not quite, as you can see, it's not covering the whole pan, but you want enough. And I've never really measured the oil. I use olive oil, but if you can see, this is a large, I believe this is like a 13-inch frying pan, and there's just enough oil on the bottom to make a puddle, but not really cover the whole bottom of the pan. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, by forkfuls, and you can make these as big as or as small as you want, but I usually take like a heaping forkful and dump it into the pan, lightly pat it down, and let that keep for the next one. And I'll make several at a time. And you want the oil to be hot when you put these in. Ooh, and it is steaming up the camera there. Okay, so I'm going to let those cook to start. And you want them to get golden brown, and then flip them and cook them on the other side until the other side is golden brown. The first batch sometimes can take a couple minutes, but your oil is going to get hotter as each batch, and the cooking time is probably going to be reduced a little bit. Okay, so I have flipped them over, and I'm letting them get golden brown on the other side. I am going to start to turn down my heat. I start with a high heat And as I cook subsequent batches, you definitely have to turn that heat down. You might have to keep like adjusting it if you need to add more oil. If you're making a lot of them, you might need to add more oil. Bring the heat up a little bit more, because you really don't want them to sit in cold oil. But you don't want to burn them, or, you know, like right now, I think you can maybe see the oil is very hot, and it's kind of like smoking just a little bit. You don't really want that to happen too much. Okay, so these definitely, let me flip this over real quick. See, that's perfect on both sides. What I have done is prepared a plate with paper towel, and I'm going to set these on here. Okay, and sometimes when there is this smoking going on with the oil, I'll just move the pan off the heat for just a few seconds and kind of let it cool down a little bit before I add another batch of ramen noodle patties to the pan. What I do with these is I like to sprinkle a little cheese, Parmesan cheese on them. And that's what I'm going to do now. Whoops. My arm's getting in the way. This is an optional step. If you don't like Parmesan cheese, you certainly don't have to add it, but I like adding it. It's a nice touch on top of the patties. Okay, so the last 3 patties are just about ready to come out of the pan. And I ended up making 14, which includes the ones in the pan. And so that's about 7 per package. And it really depends, you know, you might get a couple more, you might get a couple less. It really just depends on how big you make them. But a good heaping fork, or a good forkful, is a good guide. Okay, so I'm going to set these on top and turn the gas off so I don't start a fire. That wouldn't be good. Sprinkle some cheese on these ones that I just put out. And there you have it. These are absolutely delicious. They do refrigerate well if you happen to have any leftovers. No matter how many I make for, you know, the people I'm serving, I never end up with any leftovers. I always think, oh, we'll have some left over. I make more, and they eat them. So I hope your family loves these as much as mine does. Please like and share this video, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you as part of my community. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.